Welcome to the podcast series, Small Business Survival Conversations. Through our weekly conversations, we hope to provide you with strategies and insights, knowledge and expertise to enlighten you as you work to build and grow your business.
Good morning, business warriors. It's Monday morning. The coffee is brewing. Your inbox probably already has more emails than you'd like to see. Your calendar is full, and somewhere on your desk is a list of things you've been meaning to do, but you haven't. So today I want to talk about that list. And I know it's not because you're lazy, not because you're not capable, but because every entrepreneur eventually faces a dangerous temptation. And that is waiting, procrastinating, waiting until business slows down, waiting until you have more money, waiting until you're more confident, waiting until the timing feels perfect. And that's why today's episode begins with one simple quote from Arnold Schwarzenegger. He says, "You can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets." Now, at first, it may sound like a fitness quote. And as you can imagine, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he used to be a pretty buff guy too. And maybe something you'd expect from Terminator. But I don't think this quote is about muscles. I think this quote is about business. And I think it's about every entrepreneur listening today to this episode. So I want you to picture an old wooden ladder leaning against a building. If you've ever climbed one, you know something immediately. You can't climb it with your hands in your pockets. It's physically impossible. You need both hands. You have to grab the next rung, pull yourself upward, find your balance, and then reach again. One rung at the time, then another, then another. You never jump from the ground to the roof. You have to climb a ladder, and it happens one step at the time. Business works exactly the same way. Yet, so many people want rooftop results right away without climbing the ladder. Have you ever noticed how dangerous one word can be? Someday. Someday, I will launch my website. Someday, I'll hire help. Someday, I'll start networking. Someday, I'll raise my prices. Someday, I'll write that book. Someday, I'll create that new product. So, business warriors, someday is one of those most expensive words in entrepreneurship. Because someday quietly turns into 6 months, then a year, then 5 years, then one day. You wake up wondering where all the time went. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't become a 7-time Mr. Olympia because he thought about lifting weights. He lifted them thousands of times. He didn't become a successful actor because he dreamed about Hollywood. He auditioned, he failed, he learned, and he kept showing up. He didn't become governor of California by wishing. He took action again and again, reinventing himself through multiple careers. His life has consistently reflected one idea: Success comes through discipline and persistent effort, not just passive hopes. So let me tell you a story. As you know, in our Monday mornings, we always have a story. So this is the way the story goes. There were two farmers living side by side. Both owned the same amount of land. Both had the same weather, the same opportunities, the same tools. The first farmer woke up every morning and said, I'll plant when conditions are perfect. The second farmer simply picked up his shovel. Some days it rained, some days it was hot, some days he was tired, some days he didn't feel motivated, but he planted anyway. He was showing up at his farm every single day. So weeks later, guess whose fields were growing? Not the one who was waiting, the one who worked it every single day. Here's the thing. The soil doesn't reward intentions. It rewards action. And neither does business. So remember that. Now, don't misunderstand me. Planning is important. I know that I've thrown at you a few things, but of course planning is important. And of course strategy matters, budgets matter, vision matter. But planning has a dangerous cousin, over planning. Some entrepreneurs spend months creating the perfect logo, the perfect website, the perfect business, the perfect social media strategy, the perfect launch. Meanwhile, someone else launches an imperfect version, learns, improves, serves customers, makes sales, gets feedback, and adjusts. And a year later, they're miles ahead of the ones who were standing waiting for the perfect launch. And this is happening not because they were smarter, but because they simply started. So let's go back to Arnold's quote. Think about what hands in your pockets really symbolizes. It symbolizes comfort, safety, security, avoiding risk, avoiding effort, avoiding rejection. And isn't that exactly where so many dreams quietly disappear? Because staying comfortable feels comfortable. Making another sales call feels uncomfortable. Raising your prices, oh, it feels very uncomfortable. Speaking at an event, of course, it feels uncomfortable. Or hiring your first employee, very uncomfortable. But here is something I've learned after working with hundreds of small business owners. Growth almost never happens inside your comfort zone. It happens one rung above it. Here's another thing about ladders. When you're standing on the ground, the first rung doesn't seem impressive. It's only a few inches off the floor. But without it, you'll never reach the top. Business owners often underestimate small actions. One networking event, one follow-up call, one thank you note, one customer visit, one improvement to your website, one difficult conversation, or one podcast episode, or one LinkedIn post. None of them changes your business overnight, but together they changed everything. Because success isn't building on giant leaps. It's built on consistent climbing. I want you to think about someone you admire in business. What you are seeing today isn't their first rung. You are seeing rung number 500. Years of invisible work, early mornings, late nights, mistakes, failures, rejected proposal, lost customers, lessons, and eventually momentum. And that's what I want to share with you. I don't want you to compare your first 10 rungs to someone else's 500s. Business warriors, can I ask you something? What are your hands doing today? Are they building, writing, calling, creating, serving, learning, or leading? Or are they sitting comfortably in your pockets waiting for confidence, waiting for certainty, waiting for permission? Here's the truth. Confidence rarely comes before action. Confidence comes because of action. Every successful entrepreneur I know was once nervous. Every speaker was once afraid of public speaking. Every salesperson heard no. Every leader made mistakes. They climb, though, anyway. Because you can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. And I never end these Monday morning motivation episodes without giving you one action. So here's yours. Today, I want you to identify the ladder you've been avoiding. Maybe it's making 5 sales calls. Maybe it's finally asking for referral. Maybe it's recording your first video. Maybe it's reaching out to the potential partners. Maybe it's updating your pricing. Whatever it is, take your hands out of your pockets and I want you to climb one rung, not 10, just one. Because one rung climbed today is definitely better than staring at the ladder for another 6 months. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't say you can't admire the ladder with your hands in your pockets. He didn't say that you can dream about the ladder. He said you can't climb it. And that's the difference. Dreams inspire, plans organize, but action changes lives. So as you begin this new week, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Am I climbing or am I waiting? Because every successful business, every thriving company, every inspiring entrepreneur started exactly where you are, at the bottom of the ladder. They simply reached for the first rung and then the next and then the next until one day they looked down and realized just how far they had climbed. Thank you for spending your Monday morning with me. If today's message encouraged you, share it with another business owner who might need a reminder that success isn't reserved for the lucky. It's earned by the people willing to take their hands out of their pockets and start climbing. I'm your host, Anna Steinfest, and this is Small Business Survival Conversations. Have an incredible week, business warriors. And remember, no one has ever reached the top of the ladder by standing still.
You've been listening to the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode. In the meantime, hook up with us on our Facebook group at Small Business Survival Tools and Tips. Till next time, thank you for listening.